All right, we've got the recording started and everything. It is 7 o'clock. I'm going to have to call the meeting to order. Lead us in a quick word of prayer. I do believe all the council members are here first, though. Cindy, yes, everyone is present. You join me in a word of prayer. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us and bestowed upon our town. We just ask that you be with these young folks tonight as they present. We're just thankful for the school district and what they mean to our town. And we just hope that you lift these young people up as they go forward in their career. Once again, we thank you for the many blessings. We pray in heaven and we pray, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, I appreciate all the council members being here tonight. We've got a full slate. Everyone is here. We've got a lot of stuff tonight, just different housekeeping stuff, so I'll try to get through the best I can. And if you see me shuffling notes up here, we've got a lot of odd end things, but I believe it's all friendly tonight. Approval of the minutes from the meeting in September and October.
Make a motion to approve September and October meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting in September and October. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, all right, and approved. Approval of financial statement for October.
Make a motion to approve the financial statements for October.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the financial statement for October. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, all right, and approved.
Mr. Mayor, before we move forward,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to alter our agenda tonight to allow FMIS string team to go ahead and present. That way those kids can get home and ready for bed for school tomorrow.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to alter the agenda to allow these fine young folks to present early so they can go home and go to bed. I tried to go to bed by 8 o'clock. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. All right, that being said, Mr. Craig, we'll move forward with Katie Stewart and Kimberly Kinley, the Frank Mitchell Intermediate Stream Team Quality Report on the community pond at the Weaver Family Complex. I would like to say, coming on up, I would like to say that I got to go over there and witness this, and Stephen was there and helped do a lot, and we appreciate our staff, our mowing staff for getting over and getting the pond ready. But I really enjoyed that, guys. That was fantastic. And seeing all the signs and everything that went on, and had a great visit with Game and Fish, and it was cool. So thank y'all for letting me come by there a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, are you ready, or is this me?
Correct, so you're controller.
Okay.
I got the clicker. You just tell me when to click.
Okay, that's fine. My name is Tammy Kinley, and I teach 6th grade science at Frank Mitchell.
Katie Stewart, and these are our students.
And I'll introduce them. For my class is Tinley Slaney, and right here's Tate House.
And I have Will, and Mason, and then Natalie.
We want to thank y'all so much for letting us talk today. We wanted to kind of go over what we did and how this all happened. We took, Stewart and I, a class with Arkansas Game and Fish and John Burden, which you'll see a picture of him in just a moment. And it was all about using just skills to help look at water quality, also plant life. We looked at things like dissolved oxygen nitrate. We looked at the macroinvertebrates, which are, the small things that live in the water. And we're just gonna kind of go over some of those results, and y'all can stop us if you have questions, and hopefully we can answer it. So you can go right ahead and click the next one. And I'm not going to read to you guys all this, but this is basically just talking about the state of Arkansas and how it said here that there is just so much water in Arkansas. We make a lot of money off of our water in areas that you have a lot of recreation. There, it talked about people loving to go fishing and swimming, and so many people enjoy the water, and Arkansas is a beautiful state. And they wanted to really look and see, are our waterways and the things that we kind of entertain, are they healthy? Are they in good condition? And as you guys know, over at this pond, it's only 2 years old. So we decided to choose that as our pond to kind of look at the quality, to see how it's just kind of stands at the 2-year mark. And John gave us the opportunity to get this kit, which is kind of called the Stream Team, and it is all the things that you need to test the water. So all of this stuff was provided by the Game and Fish, okay, and it's called the Stream Team. And you can go ahead and click to the next slide if you'd like. This is when we did it. It was October 10th. We couldn't have had a more beautiful day. It was absolutely gorgeous, kind of cool that morning. And the cool thing is we have 4 classes. So we had to figure out how to get our kids there 30 minutes and bus them back 4 times. So first period went for 30 minutes and then came back, and then we did second, third, fourth. So every one of our students were able to do this. It was all day long. Bus driving was great. So we did this on October the 10th, and it was over at the Weaver Family Farm, Park and Community Pond. I'm making up all kinds of stuff over there. The students were able to get in the water and explore. So just real briefly, we sectioned them into 2 groups. One would be like water quality testing. The other would be in the water with waders. They had, I think Arkansas Game, they had like 12. And then our kit came with 2. So every kid got to get in the water with the waders. And it was fun. Because some of them have never been in the water like that. Our girls, I was so proud because they wanted to get in the water, and they would just dredge with our big nets at the bottom and would scoop up, and then the mackerel vertebrates would be in there when we dumped it out, and then we began to separate it, which you're going to see pictures. The other kids went out and got water, and then we would put this little, like their little pill-looking things on a tablet, and it would actually like help us to be able to see by the color it turned if it was at standard for that pond. So you can go ahead and click. Thank you very much. And this is Mr. John Burton from Arkansas Game and Fish. He taught the class for us this summer. Very, very nice, very sweet. He explained to the kids well. They listened to him. We were so proud of that. And he was just amazing helping with all the groups. And then go to the next slide.
So I had dissolved oxygen, and what dissolved oxygen does, it helps with the microinvertebrates. It provides them with enough sustainability to have life in the pond, and then it also helps with photosynthesis inside the pond with like algae and stuff, and it provides enough oxygen to have photosynthesis.
I also had dissolved oxygen, and 3 ppm is stressful for aquatic animals, and 5-6 is required for growth. Which means like 3 ppm is not very great for the aquatic animals underwater, and 5 and 6 is perfect for them.
So I'm explaining nitrate. So nitrate's a fertilizer for plants, and it's supposed to be like medium and not too high or too low. Because if it's too high, then it can be imbalanced, and it can be caused by humans, and it can run off crops and fertilizer.
I had pH-Y range, and the pH-Y range, it should be like 7 to 8, and if it's too high or too low, then it could be like destructive to the pond and all the animals in it.
I had biotic index data, and organisms require specific balance for life. If something is there or not, it can affect the different species in the pond, can determine the water quality.
So the level that nitrate was at was 5 ppm, and that 5 is a good number for it because if it was at like 7, then that would be too high, but if it was at 0, then that would be too low. And 5 is a good medium number for the level to be at.
The 4 ppm for the dissolved oxygen, the macroinvertebrates are pretty sensitive to the water, so if it was too high, then it wouldn't be able to sustain life. If it was too low, then it wouldn't be able to sustain life. And 4 ppm is about perfect to sustain life.
The pH levels were 7, which is good because it wasn't too high or too low.
You have the next one.
We saw mayflies, snipes, dragonflies, damselflies, crayfish, snails, and worms. It was a fair rating, which is great for a 2-year man-made pond.
Go ahead. So this is kind of what it looked like when we had our students out there. This shows pictures of each of the students, like what they did. Y'all would like to share what y'all were doing out there? No? Okay.
They were doing good work.
Every time that we presented, they got nervous when they had to talk about themselves. They don't know what to say.
I think we saw one kid that was a little over his waders too. I think.
Yeah. We had just like 2 people fall in because they got stuck in the mud. They just, tipped in, filled up with water. But they did an amazing job doing this. As you can see, this is kind of what it looks like. You have the 2 middle pictures, the one on the left. That's where they're going through and digging through what they scooped up in the nets and laid out on the table. And they're looking for those microvertebrates and seeing what they can find, like the mayflies, the damselflies. And then the other picture of the table, that's where they're doing the water quality testing. And they have those kits where they go gather the water samples. And then they have tablets they have to mix and let it set for a certain amount of time to make sure they're the right quality. And then the 2 pictures on the outside, those are our hunter-gatherers. They're going to gather all the bugs for everybody to go through. But it was a great day and we love it and we were so appreciative of them doing such a great job for us. So, and this is all encompassing. This is what the whole day looks like with all the kids. The banks were covered in them just everywhere.
It was fun, and I don't want to tell you how much that meant to the city, because, and I hope y'all do this each year.
Yes, sir.
When we built that pond, we consulted with Game and Fish. I was going to be a country boy, and we were going to originally dig it 30 foot deep, and we've learned a lot in the process with Game and Fish, and the young man that was teaching the course was very complimentary of the students, and that was a big help to us. We need to know where that pond's at each year.
We plan to go back and
Please, every year.
twice a year, every year, that's our goal.
But I will tell you that the young man from Game and Fish, we've got sun perch in there, which are kind of rare. I don't know where they came from, but the fish quality is good, and that pond gets a lot of use. And thank y'all. We need to know what shape it's in.
Yeah, he gave us some recommendations for improving fish habitats and everything, so we're working on that.
Yeah. We learned a lot too, and it's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank Ms. Pittman. She is with our school district, and she was so amazing to get the paper out the log cabin. I don't know kind of what happened with all that, but she just really promoted and was very supportive, and that is always so great to have as an educator. So just wanted to say that.
If it's all right, can we get a picture with the kids too?
Sure.
Y'all want to do that?
You want to?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Go down
Yeah, we'll just go
there.
down here if y'all mind.
You're gonna cause me to lose my place.
I am. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. Don't let him squeeze in. I'll squeeze in. You don't need to.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I go with it.
Jay, I'll get you. That's a good thing.
Just like that. We didn't say that at all.
All right, we've got several I will do my best to stay on course tonight. Fire department, Mr. Hoodman, Chief Hoodman.
Not a whole lot to go over tonight. For our fire runs, we're at 975 for the year. October permits ended in 9. November permits so far has only been 1, so it's slowing down a little bit. Permits for the year is 127.
127.
That's crazy.
That is
That's a lot.
the file run, just like you see all the years before I'm putting in, and then now I got this one started. I mean, it's like almost 3 times as thick as the other ones. It's a lot.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a good
Good
problem.
problem to have.
It's growing. Thank you. Planning Commission, this may take me a minute, Brad. I'll say that the Planning Commission is, going to meet November 20th, which is this Thursday at 7 p.m. On the agenda is a pretty action-packed agenda. They have 2 subdivisions. One on the Cypress Meadows, which is proposed to go, on the corner of North Coker and 64. The other one will be Parkview, which is, will be on Cemetery Street, across from the cemetery. There's 99 lots in that one and 269 in Cypress Valley is proposed. The Cypress Meadows subdivision, the engineers, we've been receiving good feedback. Parkview, I haven't really met with them much. Of course, you need to bear in mind that the meeting Thursday will be to make sure that they can go there, and they can. They're zoned for that. So, you know, there's been a little bit of controversy that I've handled a few phone calls. You know, there's no law against people clearing land. They own land they can clear. They just can't put anything in. You know, and we're always here to help. We're here to help with the business or anything else that might come in. We're here to help. There's a lot of processes that you have to go through. Like with the business, you know, you have to make sure that you've got clearance from the highway department if you're going on 64. You have to meet with the sewer department. You have to meet with the water department. You have to meet with the health department and have all that clearance before, you know, you can get a building permit to proceed. And we're always here to help on that. We're never going to hold anybody back and help in any way. A few things I wanted to go over with y'all real quick on that, and the council's going to have a little bit of work for next year, and that's what the council's kind of here for. On the street lighting in the new subdivisions, I'm going to make sure, unless there's any heartburn, that the developer pays for the lighting, puts the lighting in, make sure that it's installed, and you know, of course, then we do pick up the bill for the electricity for the lights after they become operational. We have to pay for all the street lights that you see in town, and that comes out of the street budget. We've also had a lot of discussion here with the staff. Of course, we've not really had any subdivision since I've been here, except this one, or the Hill Farm. On the runoff and stuff, we're gonna go the extra mile on the runoff. We're gonna really look at that, I've told the engineers. We're gonna recommend that the retention ponds be dry ponds. That they will only have water in them during the time of a rain event or a flood event. We're also gonna make sure that they are where they can be mowed and kept. We think that's, we don't think we need a pond in a subdivision. It needs to be dry except in times of use. Also, of course, this is something that Stephen had talked to me about. Of course, they always do pay for the street signs. And we're going to diverge here a little bit. We're going to probably start requiring the city logo on the edge of the street signs. We'll phase that in over time as they get blown down or destroyed. Of course, we couldn't afford to do it, you know, but unless there's any heartburn on that, we're gonna look at that. Having the city logo on one end of the street sign. Shows good progress. And of course, you know, the anything that the subdivision touches the road will have to be improved. The entire length of North Coker will have, I think, approximately 2 foot added to it, curb and gutter. Cemetery Street will have some of that done. Of course, we're gonna make sure if there's any damages that they have to fix it. So,
Now, a lot of this is pretty standard what we do.
oh yeah, I just wanted to let you know we were going on. I think the only thing that was making sure on those retention ponds that they're dry.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I don't wanna, whoever comes behind me or y'all have, I've learned some lessons. And James has too, that's a joke, but, we're blessed right now. Vilonia's the fastest growing city, in Arkansas, its size. And, evidence is what Jimmy said, and evidence is what we got coming at us. 269, you and I talked today, James, with 368 lots. That'll become available, and I know of a few more. That's a lot of work, but, we're gonna, so, I'm trying to think, and like I said, I had a lot of notes on that, but I'm trying, like I said, this is y'all's time. I wanna make sure that's bordering on the verge of the legislative, but that is, Mike, you're right, that's standard boilerplate, but I just wanna make sure we're all aware of it.
Yeah, I think that's good to put that out there, because there's a lot of concern.
Yes, there is, and the concern on the subdivision on Coker, I have visited with that developer, and if they are gonna be brick homes, and I can't say that on the other one, I don't really know what their plans are, but, I ask the public anytime they've got concerns to call. We'll always do our best, get everything. There was a little bit of confusion about the second entrance. Steve and I were talking about this earlier on Hill Farm. We are working on that. There was a variance because that was a major identified collector street through Federal Highway, through Metro Plan, through us, and we haven't forgot it. We're just, we got the plans, and we've been, just takes a while to get it all done.
That was discussed originally, but we gave a variance.
Yes, on the premise that would come through, and it's going to. And that road was designed to work very fast. So, but anytime anybody, the public's got questions, call up here. There's nobody trying to hide anything.
Something else I'd like to see us maybe consider too, future, and it may be too late on these, but you talk about the retention ponds. I've noticed a lot of them, even in Conway, they're requiring more retention ponds because they have a drainage issue like everybody around here. But they're doing those concrete trickle ditches down the center.
I have talked with the engineer about that.
And that would help on some of that erosion and able to mow, because then that main path of water has one route it goes down.
Good point.
But yeah, I think that's what they call them, is concrete trickle.
You're right. All right, like I said, the planning commission, that'll be a big meeting that starts at 7 o'clock Thursday. Feel free to come, and feel free to have anybody's got any questions to let us know. I think I've kind of covered everything. That's the easy part of building things, or trying to help build things. All right. Police department. I told you you had to sit down.
Not a whole lot to report. We're still looking to fill the open position. A minute ago, we had one of our cars ran into by another car. Decided to come off the road and hit, so we're sitting on the parking lot. So got one in the shop. We're still good with cars, but we've got one man down, so we're back to normal until they get fixed. But that's about it.
All right. Any questions for the chief? Sewer department?
Pretty much everything I got to talk about in the minutes, which you know with you were funded. I did talk to Brandon this afternoon, and we're having trouble getting the contractor to come in and finish the headworks at the plant. That's the last thing as far as the expansion is concerned. And right now, I said this last month, he's due next week. So, no, anyway, eventually he will get in there and finish the headworks, and we'll be done. And we move on to the next project.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
can't think of anything to add. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Street department, not really anything. We're still waiting. I don't know when. It's hard to, for small as we are, we're gonna try to get a little bit of paving done. We're still waiting on the contractor. I'll let you know. I did reapply for the state aid or street aid. We're centering up on, I think it is right, South Mount Holly. And it took a beating. And we did have to go over there one day and get some trucks off of it. We did do that. And we've got that in the project. Hopefully we'll get it. Park and Rec, I could ask in the last meeting about the starting pay. We're looking at starting at 45,000, maybe topping at 60 if we was to have the outstanding applicant.
We're gonna keep it a full-time position?
Yeah, and we're going to, we do have those applications out now. And I guess when we, I will try to make sure that y'all are aware if anybody wants to sit in on that. We are gonna, the 2 full-time employees and the 1 part-time will go under him. When we do him or her, when we do hire. So everybody here will kind of have some sort of direct supervision. And we'll see what we get. That's a tough job. All right, crossing through all my notes. Public comment, Ms. Wednesday Hoover on Weaver Street issues.
Sure.
All right, there's some issues up there that we are looking into. We don't turn a blind eye to anything. They're unique, and we do have an engineer looking in them. And you're aware of them as well, right? So,
That probably didn't just start. So.
no, it didn't.
So is this something we just need to really get our engineer to advise us on? Because I've been asked about this ditch about 15 times, and I see this.
Well, and I tell you what we run into, and it's a spring, and it's a good one, and it's at the top of a hill, and we've only got, I think the last time I was up there, it's like 0.4 of an inch fall. It's just extremely quiet. You get it at the top of a hill like that. It's a perplexing situation. I know that the city engineers looked at some different, as a matter of fact, and I'm being honest, I'm supposed to do the first cold wet day. That's when cattle rancher get to go travel cold wet days. But we're going to go, I believe, Rainforest, he told me that they've done a little experiment up there. We're gonna go look at it, but it won't be anything fast or cheap. And just honest with you.
So if we, I'm just curious, so if there was a situation where like we could dig that out, is that something that we could do, or would we have to?
We would have to, I don't think you'll be able to dig it out because it's so flat. But, and don't get me.
Water's gotta go somewhere.
It does, and Trey has found some kind of membrane, or he showed me, and I'm gonna go try to look at it. But I mean, I've.
Well, it's beyond my pea brain, but.
It's just not good. Water runs, hey, well, I was raised, water runs downhill, it's not your country.
Well, I was just curious, and we're all downhill here in Vilonia.
Oh, we've got several of these situations.
Alley
Page has got some springs, you know, and we're, if you go to the edge of Missouri, you know, you got Mammoth Springs. Anytime you have a mountain range and you're in a valley, you're gonna have water that are well up at different locations.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a couple there on the farm that never go dry. Cattle water in them year round. They got a lot of iron in them. All right. Department announcements. Let me kind of, and I appreciate y'all bearing with me tonight. We had a lot of things to talk about. I'll do the mayor's notes first, and then I've got some announcements here, some different things. The trunk or treat was a great success. Thank you to everyone that turned out. City Hall will be closed for Thanksgiving, November 27th and 28th. The Christmas parade, the 15th annual Vilonia Christmas Parade, a parade of trees, will be Saturday, December 6th Judging starts at 5 p.m. Parade starts moving at dusk. Route is Main Street from Cemetery Street to Bise Drive, down Bise Drive and Lloyd Drive, ending at Eagle Street. For more information, you can, or to register the parade entry, go online at the City of Vilonia, www.cityofvilonia.net/parade, or email cityhall@cityofvilonia.org. The grand marshal for this year's parade will be Gerald Coker. He may have to play some dominoes. We may have him on the domino. All right. Like I said, thank you for being lenient with me tonight. You did see the letter we got from the Vilonia School District, I think. Was it in your packet? Okay, I'm sorry. It's been busy. We did, we discussed last year helping out on the tennis court that we did originally. Mayor Firestone originally put the grant in for many moons ago. We did get that obligation met, and they did send us a letter thanking us for that on that tennis court. And I told you the last meeting, I didn't know for sure, but you do see the grant award for the sidewalks, $400,000 for phase 2, which will tag onto the sidewalk now, work fastest and head your way. So, I was shocked and pleased. As I said, we barked with the big dogs on this one. When you looked at the tables and everything, and you've seen some of the cities, and here, mid-sized Vilonia, I can't say little old Vilonia anymore, was right up there, was great, and I was shocked, but grateful, and we'll go to work on this.
Federal funding too.
Yes, sir.
During a shutdown.
Yeah. We might want to frame this, and that might be the last federal funding we ever see. So, but we're very blessed on that. I will tell you that one of the members of that review committee did reach out to me. I knew him, and he wanted to just tell me how impressed he was with the sidewalk system, and I know that the system started in, I've slept since then, 2000, 2001. And had the first grant that put the bridge in and everything down, and it's impressed the state. And a lot of people use those sidewalks. Kind of surprised me. So we did get I don't know if she included a letter we had from the people that were moving here to town. Did y'all get that one? You did get that email. Very complimentary of our website.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That was nice.
Jay don't get a lot, but Jay, thank you for your work. I can barely figure out how to turn one on, but Jay does good work, and she's become an integral part of this little team here, and she needs a little recognition, and I tell you, to get this, what it was, we had some people who were moving to town, and they were very thankful the website, how it's efficient, helped them find utilities and get moved in and everything. And that's Miss J. So, thank you. All right, if I forgot something, y'all, real quick too, before we get, you've seen the electronic filing requirements, that were in your packet. That is a change in the state law. I don't know if I agree with all of it, it's old fashioned folks that like paper, but, there's a lot of it. Be aware of that. Anybody that's running for office is listening or anything, there's requirements. There's a portal now with the Secretary of Secretary of State.
Yeah, I went to the meeting last month on it.
It's a new portal for your filing requirements and everything. So be aware of that. It is causing some concern.
And so there are some, because I just got my signature card, you have to either mail it in, you have to get it notarized, either mail it in or take it down here. And they're working the kinks out as they move along. So don't wait till the last minute would be my suggestion.
So when I was in that meeting, that's what she said. You gotta remember, there's 3,500 elected candidates and electoral candidates across the state, and they're a 3-person office.
Right.
And so, we took something that all the county administrators were doing for every county and turned it into one state office process. Yeah, that state government, right? But when I was in the meeting, a couple things I took from it, just to give you all a heads up, a couple pages in, there's a candidate information page, it has like a number 12 on it. That is what will be public information, any of the asterisk stuff. So the phone number you list would be what's public information, it's your cell phone, home phone number, whatever. And the same with your address on there. She did say that you could put a PO box if you have one instead, of doing your home address if you'd like. Now, the mobile number is not public information when you go to register on these. It is just for two-step verification, so no one sees that. So you can put you're safe to put your cell phone there if you don't want your cell phone out publicly. She did recommend, like Mike was saying, do it sooner than later, but give them some breaks because they're doing school board candidates right now and they're about to do all the primary stuff. So she said, if you don't mind, can you wait until after the primary, but don't wait till your filing time. And once
Unless you have to file by the December 31st deadline.
Yeah, unless you have to,
Check with the ethics commission, because the Secretary of State's office doesn't know.
Has no idea.
Question for again.
If you like leftover funds in your balance and all that, you have to file by the end of the year.
It was working fine, I thought, but you know.
Yeah. But Mike is correct. She said that, you get on the portal, you create your account, it prints off the verification page. You have to sign it and have it notarized. And then like you said, mail it back to them, which could take 30 days, or you can hand deliver it to the Secretary of State's office at the Capitol, either way. Once you get that turned in, they verify you, then they give you access to your portal to put your not financial interest, your campaign expenditures and campaign contributions. That's what this is for. You still turn your financial interest into Ms. Kelly here at the city.
Okay.
If you're a city office.
That's good to know.
So that's kind of what I picked up
Keep
from
it
it.
on the download, might you?
Yeah.
Is this just for, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read all that mess. Is this for people filing for next time?
Every candidate has to do this from now on out. So when we run again in 26 for our positions, you will have to have an account set up before then.
Okay.
Because even if you don't do any contributions, you're zero and you don't run against nobody, you still have to fill out a contribution page that shows that you spent no money on a campaign. So even if you don't run a race, you still have to if you're in. If that makes sense.
Yep.
And call me if y'all have any questions on it. I'll be glad to help walk you through it or get you in touch with people. That goes for anybody, even public ones, if they want to run an office.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all, like I said, we've got several things. I have been asked, I'm gonna move on to another announcement issue, and I'm gonna need y'all to kind of help on this again. I have been asked by the county clerk to look at possible voting locations here in the area. There's no way we can do it here. We've just got too much going on during the day with the revenue department, court, and just the general uptick in activity that we've had here in our town.
We've tried that before.
Yeah, and
It didn't work.
so we're looking. I welcome any ideas. I suggested looking at the old gymnasium over here. I put a call in to Dr. Adam and I've not heard back from him.
How much room do they need? Because we have that back community room at the senior center. Would that be a possibility maybe? Is it not big enough, that little community room?
It's not big.
Okay.
But I'm reaching out and, you talk to Margaret, daughter, I know, Stephen, you're gonna talk, tell her we're looking, but I mean, it's just not enough, I just don't see it.
So any of our church people here in the audience, if you have a utility, what is
They
it,
wanted to-
multi-use building or anything?
Yeah, they might come look at that, she can reach out to them, but there was a little bit, they were a little, I think they're trying to stick with public buildings.
Yeah.
And I just,
It's gonna be hard.
I agree, and I tried to, but I just wanted y'all to know that I did have that conversation, and I am trying to remedy the, we're talking about night about the county clerk reached out about possible voting locations.
Oh,
And, there's no way we can do it here, there's just too much going on during the day, like James said, they tried that once before. But if you come up with any ideas, feel free to reach out to Ms. Darter. Like I said, I've tried to reach out to Dr. Adams on the school, maybe the possibility of the old gym. But I have not heard back, but we're gonna try to help her where we can. So,
I know they do have to hold some of the practices in the old gym.
Wrestling, I know does.
But they could probably make arrangements for that.
well, I just wanted you to know if somebody said that, you know, we just turn a blind eye, I mean, and I'm again, counseling me. There's just too much here right now during the daytime operation.
But this courtroom, this be the only room you could probably do it.
And then we've got court off and on, and then we've got, you know, the revenue, and it's pretty busy around here.
Are the churches not able to do it this year?
For some reason, I think they're leaning away from those. You know, I don't know that, like I said, I didn't, that, if you think of any ideas to help them, feel free.
The library would probably be too small.
Yeah. Yeah, because once again, with all the growth that you've had in these townships, it's not as long. 3 or 4 townships, without we're at 30 or 4,000 people show up.
Yeah, 'cause you can vote in any location now.
That might be complicated for me, some of these little areas.
Yes. Yes, so the infrastructure catches up. Yeah. Okay, there's one other thing that did come up that we got in the mail, want to make you aware of it. And they have, the legislature, another one of their deals in the last session is we have to file with the county clerk on whether we're ward-based or at large. And we are at large. And I've had to reread it, and I think that we're okay. We're gonna reach out to Margaret Darter and make sure we're okay, but they did send a boilerplate ordinance. We may have to look at that at the December meeting. There's nothing trickier anyway, it's just complying with another mandate.
So whether we're at large or both on wards is up to the council here? Or-
So it's always
It's
been that way by passed by ordinance, but they basically said to keep you from doing it really quick to change something up. After this year, if you decide, the way I read it and interpret it, if you decide to go by ward vote like Conway does, they do position 1's at large, position 2's ward. If we want to do something like that, we would have to have an ordinance in place a year out from the election time.
And turned into the
county clerk. So like we couldn't do it for the 26th after January election. We'd have to wait till 28 if we choose to. And we'd have to have something passed by ordinance by June of 27, I believe, is the way I read it.
But the way I read it right now, we're okay. I don't think there's any heartburn the way things are. Correct?
That's just something we gotta discuss and we want to change it, so.
It just, it was kind of caught me off guard. I missed that mandate, didn't I?
I did too. Yeah.
So, but we're dealing with that.
Well, they only passed 1,000 new laws this last time, so.
Yeah. I don't know if that they even know what to do.
That's pretty good. All right, I do believe that is everything. I appreciate you staying with me. Like I said, we had a lot of little admin housekeeping things that I wanted y'all to know about and tell you about. If you had any heartburn on the direction we were going, that you can tell me that as well. All right. Department recognition. Ms. Fink.
Thank you, sir. So it's not necessarily a department, but a collaboration of several different ones here at City Hall. The people that put on the trunk or treat, that's something that was really good for our community, and anything we can do to bring our people together is very special. So I just want to say thank you. I know some of the names, but I do not have a list of all of them, so I'm not getting in trouble. So everybody that works on that, I just want you to know we appreciate it and for doing something for our community.
The City Hall gang.
Right? I'm just gonna leave it at that.
City Hall, they're a good bunch. City clerk and of course, I think they do good work. Thank you. Chamber of Commerce.
Our event this month is our Shop Small, Shop Local event. That'll be November the 29th, Saturday, right after Thanksgiving. And I really want to emphasize the Shop Local part. We'll have prizes from participating merchants and For those of you who are familiar with it, you take a selfie, people that are participating take a selfie in front of the business, post it on Facebook, tag the chamber with the hashtag, and they will be entered for prizes that are donated by those businesses. And, you know, I know we all get excited when we have new businesses, and we are excited about that, but we do need to support all of our businesses. Please look in Vilonia first before you shop somewhere else, and we pay the local taxes, we pay sales taxes, we support the schools, we support the community, so look at us first.
Amen. Thank you.
Miss Jackie, do y'all have a luncheon this month or?
Yes, I'm sorry, Thursday at, Thursday at Simple Simon's at 11:30. I believe the golf club will be our speakers. Some of the owners of the golf club will be our speakers, and they have a lot of events going on this month. Y'all may have seen that on Facebook. So please come by and eat with us and support that.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we're moving on to old business. The proposed ordinance 2025 DDO 4, care facilities and everything.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we have open discussion on this before we go into reading in case there's any changes we'd like to propose.
Second.
Okay, that's a great motion. We have a motion second to go into open discussion on this proposed ordinance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Mr. Craig, can I have just a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason this came up is we received a healthy amount of phone calls. And the way Jimmy and I have kind of read it, you know, it looks like us, it's against our code. And we've had some confusion with the planning commission stuff, nothing against them, they're appointed. And we just need to get some clarity on this. You know, we have some health and safety concerns that the staff has been worried about, you know, for our firemen and police. You know, we need to kind of know what's there, what's going on. Kind of what started this, there was one home that was for, I have to be careful, youth that needed some extra help.
A group home.
And we didn't know it was there. And the police went over there on a call, and we were made aware of it. And I went over there, it was a hot day, and those neighbors were they were good, and it was all over with. But, you know, that's kind of brought that to our concern. And also, it's not fair for our brick and mortar establishments. You know, everybody should have to pay a privilege license and everything. Everybody, you know, no different than anybody else. But there hasn't been any nefarious type of discussions or anything. It's just, we need some guidance. We need some guidance. I'm not legislative. That's not my job. That's not the staff's job. That's y'all's. And it's kind of flesh all this out. Like I said, if we allow them to stay, I think every one of them need to register. If they're selling t-shirts or anything, sure. We need to know what's there. So that pales into the fire and safety issue for our police and our fire. And then, you know, pay like everybody else does. But you know, it's been an issue. A lot of these subdivisions have restrictions and covenants. And a lot of people don't understand that those are only enforced by 50% plus one of the landowners. If you have somebody in a subdivision that's a go-getter and knows how to work in the law and everything, they can. You know, we've had 2 cases in Vilonia. And I was thinking about this today. That was back during your tenure where one of them was down here on the Jansky subdivision. Where restrictions and covenants were actually enforced by 50% plus one. So you've got that creates some confusion for the residents as they're reading. You know, some of the subdivisions are, I think Hill Farm, they established a property owners association that you're automatically a member when you buy a home.
Brentwood has one as well.
Yes, and you know, that the POAs, that kind of handles that. You can't go in where there's POAs. But it's created a lot of confusion. We've had a lot of calls. And the staff and I, we just kind of need to get some clarity on this, where we're going.
Well, I definitely think we're headed in the right direction, and I think that we definitely need these definitions in place that's here. I think it's in order to do that. I don't have any heartburn over any of it, other than my only head scratching on it would be, I think we should, like on the second page, on the third bullet point where it talks about home foster care, where it says this ordinance shall not apply to single-family dwellings which the owner or leasee provides sanctioned foster care, I would put a period there and not put up to 5 individuals. And I've got a couple reasons for my thoughts on that. Number one, I think we're messing a little bit with the police powers of the state. I trust the DHS not to take 10 kids and put them in a 2-bedroom apartment. But I also know that there is a shortage of foster care. And I'm a baby of 7 children. And if my parents would have died and they would have taken all of 7 of us out of the home at 2 o'clock in the morning, a law like this could really affect us being able to stay together. That's my only thoughts. I don't have a problem with anything else that's written. I think it's needed. I've been kind of preaching a little bit on some of these. We've been talking back and forth over the last several years about how we needed some better definitions and stuff. So I think that's a good thing.
When I drafted this up, I did it in hand with our attorney. So he's fully aware of everything that's wrote in here. Went back and forth, actually 2 or 3 drafts with him on it to make sure nothing conflicts with state law. Also on it, like the mayor was saying, it's because of concerns from citizens. That's kind of the reason got us looking into that. And he asked me to look into it, and this is kind of what we came up with. I did have a conversation with one citizen on here about adding some more teeth to it, I guess you could say. One of our big concerns is these popping up in these subdivisions. And even our attorney said, yeah, we cannot enforce covenances, but we don't have to permit things that go against them either. So he said, we can't, once something's in there and things like that, it's hard for us to enforce the covenants. But if they're having to come to us for a conditional use and we don't think that's in the best interest of that neighborhood, we don't have to allow it as a city. And that's the way he kind of said. He said, and I said, are we good with the discrimination on that? He said, yes. He said, y'all can decide that when it's a conditional use if we think it fits that area. And so that's kind of why we wrote this in as conditional use. When I talked to that one citizen about it, we talked for 20 minutes or so and kind of came to a conclusion we may put in there adding some predetermined conditions, right? That we put in there. And that way, in case we could overturn this whole council next year, right? And the council could come in and say, well, we want to change this up. If it's just conditional and there's no predetermined conditions, they can create whatever conditions at the time or none at all. And so what we were talking on the phone was maybe adding in a condition that says that in order to allow these daycare facilities, group homes, whatever, it has to be on a 3/4 acre lot or larger. That would prevent it from going any of our predetermined subdivisions for the most part, right? But that would allow somebody like, I'm going to use Miss Jackie here because she probably don't mind me using her as an example, who has a couple acres of land on the corner there on Main Street. She could open up a home there. It wouldn't really affect anybody. You wouldn't have those direct neighbors right beside you on a 3rd acre lot complaining at that point. And so that may be an idea we take into consideration of adding some predetermined conditions like that. Another one was fencing. That, by state law, whenever you do these group homes and stuff like that, they have to have a secure area for these elderly or kids to stay in, but there's nothing that says they have to be maintained. So part of our inspections, whenever that code enforcement or fire marshal goes out there to do the annual inspection to make sure these homes are safe, just make sure that the fence is in proper condition too, and not falling apart and dilapidated where we can have an issue of a dementia type patient getting out and wandering out into the street or whatever. And those were just 2 of them that we kind of talked about when I talked to that person. But up to y'all in discussion what y'all's thoughts are on this.
I don't have a problem with even the conditional use. I do think that, we need to stipulate some of those conditions so that way there's not any changes of those. But back to my.
Yeah, the council would have changed the ordinance in order to take those
Could we
conditions
not
out.
put something in here, that stipulates, if we're really concerned about, and I know that in the past we've had some problems with the covenants in these subdivisions. Could we not put a clause in here, maybe a question for the attorney, that they have to, that it has to conform to those covenants, or would we be getting out of line there?
I don't know, that's a question, that's a question.
Yeah.
Because we're not supposed to enforce the covenant.
That's correct. It's pretty clear on the 50%
I got
question.
I'm just
No, I
trying to
mean-
think of ways to help fix the
Well,
problem.
and I'll add, that's one thing that kept us a healthy volume of phone calls. I mean, I've not had any animosity towards anybody or anything, but I mean, we're getting a steady den of phone calls from people that have bought the subdivision, and what they've relayed to me is they feel like they bought a subdivision to live in a subdivision.
Not live in a commercial district,
Yeah.
or, yeah.
The only, like I said, the only problem I have is just the foster care thing. I mean, in this particular instance, and like I'll use my family of 7 children. We got taken out of the home at 2:00 in the morning. The only home available is in Vilonia. We would be breaking the law. They would be breaking the law. by
Well,
letting
I'm
those
sure we're
children-
taking that out.
I would just leave it
Yeah.
as, because, let the DHS.
This doesn't apply to the foster home.
I think so, because if you get into a situation where it's an orphanage, that falls under your group homes.
Yeah, it would label the foster care, it'd have a definition for foster care there, and it would just take them out of being applied to this ordinance, per se, is what your suggestion.
Yeah, I think so. That's just my 10 cents, but I think overall, we're going in the right direction with what we're doing here.
But if you're in a single family, and now you're allowing a family, 2, 3 to come there, is that not going against our zoning ordinance, zoning laws?
Well, by definition of family, as long, yes,
Yes, okay,
it's
that's
very gray. When we started talking with our attorney on it, it is a very gray area, and that's why he said we have to define our definitions.
To me, it's not great.
Well,
If it's single family residence, it should be single family residence.
I think my biggest problem with all of it is these places that are opening and they're not going through the proper channels of obtaining a permit, or, if it's conditional use, they need to obtain permission. They're not paying a privilege tax like other businesses do. So that's my problem. Like, they need to abide by all the rules that everybody else does.
But isn't that already the law that in Vilonia, that if you open a business in this city, you have to
Correct.
have a business
It
license?
is.
That is correct.
And then and if that is already the law, how does this fix that problem?
Jimmy, you have anything like that?
I mean, no, that's.
Come on up here.
It would give, the only thing I know is if we find out about them, it would give our code enforcement more teeth to go into enforce laws.
But I mean, you're running a business without a business license.
You're already.
You're already breaking one, now you're breaking another one because you didn't come and get the conditional use.
And I'm with you, I'm with the definitions. I think they're beautifully written. I think that's perfect.
That's just been the problem, though, we just didn't know about them, and then when they come in, like, it almost sounded like Stephen was saying that once they're in, it's hard for us to do anything about it, and then that puts a big safety issue on us, the fire department, the code enforcement, police even, we had to know about it in order to, because our pre-existing fire plans even, if I know that there's gonna be people staying there that can't get themselves out, that's something I need to know on the forefront.
And I think that's.
But if they're just willy-nilly coming in and we don't know about them, that puts us behind the curve getting there.
I think that's very, very.
I'm not against them, I just want to know about them and to be able to regulate that so that we understand our safety issues where that's involved.
So, when you talk about single family dwelling, I just looked up our definition on it. It's not talking about, like, you're thinking of a family like the Firestones. When it shows under dwelling single family, it's a detached residential building containing only one dwelling unit. So it's talking about just a single house. It doesn't break off on saying how many families live in that one house.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Single family doesn't mean single family.
Correct. It means one house on the property.
I don't think that's the way people take it, though.
Well, that's right out of our code.
To be honest, that's not the way I thought it. I mean, it's been a gray area for me. You and I had that discussion.
But, and by making a conditional use permitting on this, to do any kind of these facilities anywhere, like, Mr. Huffman was saying there, it's one of those, right now, if I open one up in my house and y'all find out about it and say, well, you're not operating with a business license, well, all I gotta do is come get the business license. I pay my $50 or whatever it is for the fee, and now I've got my business in the neighborhood. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, I got my LLC done.
Yeah.
He still can't kick me out of there because I didn't come by and get a conditional use permit on it and go through that process.
You know, we had this, a couple of years ago over,
On
they
Blair.
wanted to do that.
It was on
Yeah.
Blair. And they were permitted to go in. They didn't because the neighborhood ran them out. They had such bad reviews from the
All
neighbors,
right,
they never went
let
in.
me throw a little devil's advocate in here.
There's one that we permitted over there. The planning commission,
We didn't
we didn't, the planning commission said you don't have to have a permit. We don't know why you're here.
That was one in Mullins, place.
Was that the one in Mall? There was one of them, I don't remember, but it was.
I do know the one in hospice.
And once again, that's why,
Causing issues.
yeah, well, that's the reason I'm here for y'all, council. I mean, we need to get some clarification. I go again, I mean, it's a little bit, we've got a problem. We know that. We all agree with that. We're just gonna have to figure out a way to solve it.
So, scenario here, let's say that I have one of these homes here, and I'm licensed with the, Office of Long-Term Care, and we slid in here, and I'm operating I had 5 or 6, disabled people in my home.
You don't have to license.
With long-term care, you cannot go into a town and not have a business license.
Really? I didn't know.
On long term, yeah.
Right here.
I think when you, I mean, is it all, can she?
Oh, well, she's ready.
We had her on the.
I definitely am ready, because I'm about to get irritated. So it's not okay that a disabled person lives next to you.
Right.
And it is okay that an old person lives next to you. And it's okay that 5 or 6 of them lives next to you. That's very discriminative. I'm sorry, I take very big offense to that. So anyways, let me get started to my notes or I'll get on a rampage. I'm a licensed nursing home administrator. I took 2 nationals and a state test to get this license. I run ICFs. I run 2 of them. I've been through 2 state surveys this year with minimal of anything. You want to get roped for something, because if not, the feds come in. So you want to tag. You don't want to be perfect. So, that being said, this is my daily job. I do this all day long. Y'all got it confused on how this works. These facilities, I know that you've probably been in a nursing home. You've probably been in a group home of sorts. So I'm going to do what I do. I work with IDD clients. I work with adults with disabilities all day long. Love it. All together, besides my funeral home experience, I've got about 15, 18 years in it. So, I am fine with the definitions because that's what they are. What I'm not fine with is people acting like it's bad to have a home with 5 adults with a disability or that are elderly living next to you. That's offensive. I don't know if y'all have family members that are, but my sister's disabled. She lived with us for a little bit. I hate the fact that I right now have a client in one of my homes that is a Vilonia citizen. She has to live with me because she's not welcomed in Vilonia, because that's what y'all make it sound like. I want to open a group home here. Would I? Not what y'all saying, I don't want them next to me. I mean, think about it. The subdivision issue, I was in that meeting, I had to get up and walk out when they started talking about, well, I don't want an old person running around naked in the front yard. Well, you know, you can get drunk and do that nowadays in my subdivision. Don't mean because you're old or you're disabled. I have a lady that lives in one of my homes that has been there 30 years. That is her home. We are her family. I have one little girl that her family just left her. She's in state custody. I have to take care of her every day. She cries almost every day because she don't have family, but guess what? I'm her family. So it is a one family single dwelling because all of them are one family. All 10 of those girls in that home, that's their family. You go ahead and try to beat up on one of them. It's going to be a showdown. I feel that what we need is something black and white, because if not, discrimination is going to come down. Because what's going to happen is, I don't mind these people being next to me, but my other neighbor over here, they're going to mind. And what's going to happen is they're going to come to the planning commission, because I've been to a lot of those meetings, and the planning commission is going to decide hypothetically, that's going to be purple with pink polka dots. Well, next week, another person's going to come, And they're gonna decide then that it needs to be pink with purple polka dots, because it's nothing in writing. And before you say that we have conditions, all of our conditional uses have no writing, yeah, we do. The telecommunication facilities, they have conditions. Your planning developments have conditions. Your residential developments, they have conditions. I just wanna see something that says, if we're gonna have these places in our town, which we should, because all of you at some point might need a nursing home or a manor, and God forbid somebody be in a bad wreck and you need to be in one of my facilities because now you can't function and you need somebody to help you with your daily ADLs, you know, because you can't brush your teeth no more by yourself. So I'm here to help you. I just need it on paper. That way I don't feel like I'm being discriminated. My biggest deal so far, my husband hears it from me at least once a week, is that we put 2 playgrounds in this city and they're not, neither one of them are all inclusive. A handicapped child cannot play on our playgrounds. When I get asked, and I get asked, because people know what I do, I can send them to Jacksonville or Conway, because we don't have an all-inclusive playground. That, I brought my law, so this is my law for an office of long-term care, right here. These are my work Bibles. Everything I can wrote as a deficiency is right here, in the state of Arkansas. From fly on the wall to an IJ, meeting at Jeopardy, and I have to leave. These are my regs for nursing home and ICF. I mean, I don't know what more conditions y'all can put on me, but I'd like to see it in paper, because guess what? I can open up an ICF today, well, you can't because there's not beds open. The state has all those filled up. But I would know exactly what I had to do right here. If I want to build a nursing home, I know exactly what I got to do right here.
And I think I want to clarify that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All right.
And y'all, me and my husband don't always agree.
Okay. So what is the limit to the licensed office long-term care? In other words, can I keep 3 people?
So long-term care is ICFs.
Or whatever.
Or nursing homes.
The state.
So I answer the long-term care. You're talking about group homes, which is DHS. Now, I've done both. I've done group homes and I've done transitional, which is our apartments at the company I work for. But right now I do.
Let me ask, and I'm trying, and like, just for discussion, if you're under a certain number, you don't have a license with the state.
That's right.
Okay, what is that number?
I think it's 5. I believe it's 5. And that's what I'm trying to say is, if y'all got people flying under the radar, they're going to still fly under the radar.
With this law, is what you're saying.
And something else, I was a person that talked to Mr. Steve because my husband was like, well, because I was crafting around the house, he said, you need to talk to Steve. It's fine. I informed him that, like, my fire alarm in my facilities, they don't go off to the fire department in Jacksonville because we pull them for practice. So I suggested, since we're small and we're still volunteer, that maybe we need to have alarms in Vilonia that actually ring the fire department, because God forbid we get a fire in one of these facilities that need help and don't have enough help.
Well, and
You know, because I see the need. I just want something in writing, that way it don't change, because I see conditionals change.
Well, and I think to clarify, and I don't think you meant that. I mean, I don't think myself or any member of this council has got any discriminatory vibes towards anybody. I think
it's the way it comes across, though. We don't want to lose our neighbors.
This is citizens that are, I'm not, I mean,
It was citizens that said they didn't want to make an old lady in their front yard.
Well,
and in my mind, I was thinking, well, I hope it's not your mama tomorrow.
But you understand, this is what brought this up, is citizen concerns.
I understand
And we're trying to work our way through.
Well, and that's where we've talked about having a lot size limit.
Yes.
And that's something black and white, like
Yes.
you're asking for, and that would prevent.
Now, my homes don't go in subdivisions, because I do 10 beds or more. So we don't, but now we're in residential facilities.
But I mean,
we're in residential roads, like you drive down the road and I'm in.
Complex right across the street.
Yes. So, I mean, we're in residential because it's their home. So you want them to feel in home, not in an institution.
And I'll be fine, I'm proud, and I know other people will be allowed here in a minute, but I would only support that for me personally, I'm letting my ear chewed off by these people in these subdivisions. You know what I mean?
And I don't get to talk to them personally, because I would ask them, well, if it was your grandmother or your sister, how would you feel? That's not okay. It's not okay for their attitude to be that way, because it will come to their door one day. And I would much rather keep my sister close to me in Vilonia, in a small town, than send her off to Jacksonville, or keep unfortunately, my father has passed away, but my mom, when she gets old, I won't be able to live in the same house as her. So I'd much rather put her in a manor and have her close to home. That way I can check on her.
And I promise you, we've looked at inclusive partner, and I promise you, they're just over. And we'll get there.
But
About 300,000.
I understand that, but we put 2 in, and neither one of them are inclusive at all.
Well, there was a little bit on them, but not a lot.
I have a blind niece, she could not play on our playgrounds.
But, so.
She uses a cane, I mean, she's
All right.
totally blind, school blind, so.
Well, and I'd like to point out also, I'm not against having the homes. I think my problem is when they're not going through the same channels as everybody else.
Yes, and now to be licensed with long-term care or DHS, I would say you have to have a permit to be in the city. So I'm thinking y'all's people flying under the radar are smaller than what the licensing requirements are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All
I
right.
feel like
So,
they put
that's what I'm
our
thinking.
emergency personnel
We-
at risk
we-
by not
We
knowing who's there.
we've got some people that want to talk. Is that, I guess that's okay with council?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so, all right, first,
Hi. So my name is Janice Hanks and I'm the homeowner at 18 Mockingbird, landlord. Y'all's definition on your city code for a family home, and sorry about my voice, I've been sick, says an individual, 2 or more persons related by blood, marriage, or legal adoption, or a group of not more than 5 unrelated individuals living in one dwelling unit. On your proposal, I'm guessing my home you're trying to classify as a nursing home or assisted living facility. And your definition just states a facility which houses multiple residents. It doesn't give a specific number. According to Arkansas Code 20-10-213, the Office of Long-Term Care, a long-term care facility means any building, structure, agency, institution, or other place for the reception, accommodation, board, care, or treatment of more than 3 unrelated individuals. So, and then the assisted living definition, according to the state of Arkansas, that same code also states that any building or dwellings, section or distinct part of a building, boarding home, home for the aged, or other residential care facility, whether operated for profit or not, that undertakes through its ownership or management to provide assisted living services for a period providing or exceeding 24 hours to more than 3 adult residents of the facility who are not relatives of the owner or administrator. So I am renting my home to 3 tenants. According to the state of Arkansas, we do not have to be licensed with DHS. DHS has visited my home twice already, following up from the emergency situation of the 3 ladies I have where they came from. Their facility was in Greenbrier. It was shut down for having over 20, and they were not licensed. DHS has visited my home twice and said, great job, continue what you're doing.
So you don't have to have a license with the DHS?
No, I have 3.
And you're saying that our codes currently state, I don't have them right in front of me, if I just wanna make, I'm hard hearing, so forgive me. If you have, 5 or less unrelated people in your single
That's
family
what
residence,
Y'all's definition says a family home is. Correct.
not, okay. All right,
But to be licensed in the state of Arkansas, if you have 3 or less.
3 or less,
Correct, and I have 3.
you have 3
Yes.
or
so
less.
you would have no issue with getting a privilege permit or opening up your own inspection for the fire.
Correct. I don't provide the care.
Yeah.
There's private agencies that come in and
But I
provide the
mean, they
care.
would have to get a
I'm
privilege
just the
permit.
So do you have leases, like written leases with these people?
Correct.
You would have to get a privilege permit
To be a landlord,
for this business to run in this
Whoever's
house.
running the business would have to
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah.
No, so what she's
May I speak?
she's falling under a loophole, she's saying she's a landlord.
All right, whoever's in charge of that operation, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I'm just
Get
saying,
everybody in.
even if that's the case, which I do know, because I talked to the state fire marshal, okay, and they do have to have sprinklers, there's 3 or more in 24-hour care. However, beside that point right there, that's minimal code, and we can set a higher standard here at the city if we want to.
That's correct.
But you still have to got to pay that permit. Whoever's running that operation has got to have a permit.
Yes. So you're.
Right now,
You
and be
have a
registered.
permit already. You're renting a house out to make money, right? I'm assuming you're using it just because the good, right? Like you're making money off of renting these rooms, correct?
I'm not making.
I can see your point, but whoever is renting it is running the entity would be required to have a.
I mean, you'd have to have a business
Yeah.
license, I would think, of some sort.
And be registered.
If you're making money, it's business.
Yeah.
Do you have, this particular lease, is it month to month? Is it?
Yes,
Is it a daily rate?
it's a month to month.
Do you like an LLC under it?
No,
So the lease is between you and you personally and the individuals, or is
Yes.
it through?
no, it is through me personally and the individual.
And you're the sole owner of the
Responsible for it.
house, so there's no other parties involved?
Correct.
I'm trying to, is that kind of, people are about to jump up, or is that, everybody, that kind of what you wanted to say? Anybody have any questions for her?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, like barber shop.
My name is Sarah Hefner. I'm the owner of Serenity Senior Living. We're a private care company that provides around-the-clock care for residents or clients in their own homes. I do contract with the ladies that Janice has, her tenants. I have a contract with their families that we provide the care. Just like any other private care company that goes into people's homes that are private pay. You know, there's lots of companies out there. There's Homestead, WellCare, different ones that go in that's not qualified under Medicaid or Medicare. We go in, we provide the care, the family pays us to care for their loved one. Is what we do.
You have two facilities in one.
I do not have any facilities. I have staff.
Okay, you've got two houses in one. You've got one in Saddle Creek and one, I can't remember where your other one is.
So my business is not affiliated with the homes at all.
Can you tell us your business structure? Are you a landlord also, or?
No.
You are home health care
I have an
business?
LLC that provides bathing, hygiene, we do meal prep, light housekeeping, ADLs.
And how many residents do you have in your each facility?
I total have 6 clients that I take care of.
Three
facilities.
Three, yeah, they're called loopholes.
Does your staff live at those houses, or?
No, ma'am.
So how long are they there, a day, or?
I staff my members anywhere from 6 to 8 to 12 hours shifts.
And how many, like, you have two that do 12-hour shifts, or is there someone there 24 hours?
Yes, we have adequate staffing around the clock, whether this client provides 2 people assist or 1 person assist. Depending on their care, we provide the staff as needed.
So I would venture to say there's 4 people living in that house. If you have 3 tenants and then a 4th that's living there to take care of them.
I don't have anybody that's living there that has their
Because she
personal
doesn't
belongings
have to be
there around the
licensed by
clock.
the DHS.
I have staff members that are on a schedule to fill in for hours.
So, I'm trying to get through this for my brain, if we go down, this is all discussion. Would that require a business fee for 1 or 2?
It's
one entity, so I guess that would be, and then you're not averse to having an inspection by the fire department, are you?
An inspection for what?
Safety issues.
I have nothing to do with the.
Property,
residents,
we will,
You would have to do
irregardless.
with the landlords and the tenants.
Well, irregardless of what goes forward with this, I'm gonna make sure that the safety issues are enforced.
Now, wait just a minute. You said you have a business,
I have an LLC that is a private care company that.
and you
provides
lease
care.
that to a landlord?
No, sir, I have, staff members that I schedule out around the clock to provide the care for the tenants that are in the home.
And why couldn't you, if you own the building, right?
I do not own neither resident.
So you have 3 tenants there, or you only have the
with-
care?
With my business, I refer to my people as clients. So I take care of 3 clients on the Mockingbird House and 3 clients in Saddle Creek. So we provide the care around the clock.
So you provide, you have
Anything
clients,
else.
so you're the building owner, or, I mean, how do you have these clients in a building that you don't own or lease?
Their family has contacted me to see if I could come in and provide the care for them.
But who owns the
Who
building?
owns these houses?
I own the house in Mockingbird.
Yes, and then there's,
Okay, and you don't live there?
No,
So is she the tenant
no.
or the people
The
that
two
live?
separated there are my tenants.
So who owns the other house?
an elderly lady, her name is Vicki Simmons.
And how is
Those
she
are her
involved with
roommates.
how is she involved with the other clients and the care that you're talking about?
We provide care for her along with her roommates. We have a contract separately with them to come in and provide the care.
So you're providing care for your clients, but it's at someone else's home?
It's their home, that's where they live.
Who's the owner of the house? It's not all 3 of them.
They are renting rooms from the landlords.
Who's the landlord?
Janice Hanks at
That's one of
Mockingbird
them,
I'm the landlord at Mockingbird.
and Saddle Creek.
So technically,
I had
y'all are
nothing to
renting
do-
rooms is all y'all are.
I have nothing to do with the house, structure, building, facility, whatever you may call it itself.
It'd be no different than if my grandmother in Little Rock needed help and I hired you to come take care of and check on her every couple hours or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, it's a contract that me and the family sign up
You can see why we've
for.
been so confused, it's sad.
And I'm just as confused in what I would like to point out here with what these folks are telling us tonight. This law will help the problem because it says 5 or more. They got 2 houses with 3 each, plus they're gonna claim that they're landlords.
I think
And we have no laws that require other landlords in this city to have,
James?
if I have a home and I wanna rent my house out, you're telling me I have to have a business license. That's what they're going under. I'm just telling you loopholes.
I think the problem with it is, it needs to be a business that is, 1, has a permit with Vilonia. 2, that business needs to notify our emergency personnel of what they're expecting when they get there, or what could be, it requires it to be sprinklered if they're elderly people that's living there. 3 people or more, you've gotta have sprinklers. So there's a lot of things that are being
Technically, I
missed.
think it's less than that.
We're dealing.
Mr. Huffman said he spoke with them about
Well, did you
that.
ever hear back on that 310.4.1 that we talked about where it said, any care facility within a dwelling, 5 or fewer persons receiving care within a single family dwelling are permitted to comply with the international code as long as they have an automatic sprinkler system installed.
Yeah, but we did find where it says 40 or less, if they have 24-hour care.
So if there's 3 people, this 24-hour care has to be sprinkled.
Yes, residential sprinkler, not commercially, but residential sprinkler, yes.
Okay, and it would need to be registered also as a business in
See, that's
town.
that's what I want everybody to really get hold of. If we don't register as a business, then we can't have any kind of safety put in place for the residents there. It's not for the fire, y'all kind of state a little bit, it's like for our protection, it's not for our protection, it's for their protection.
Yes.
And I would feel very bad if we didn't know about one of these businesses
Well,
coming in.
no, that's exactly right. You go to her home at 2:00 in the morning, not knowing that there's 3 elderly people that may be bedridden or whatever. I don't know if they're mobile or not, but, and you show up with 2 guys on a fire truck, because that's all that came there then. I mean,
We're dealing with a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
We're dealing with, residents, and I'm, like I said, I won't clarify again, I had this listening, I get, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's home health, y'all. They're doing home health and they've rented out their rooms. So it's gonna fall, that's
And
not anything.
I joked with James when we were talking, and I said, some of these issues I've had to deal with, I never had to come to y'all. Like one guy wanted to put a sawmill in his backyard, and a septic issue, you know, just had people want about the transmission service, and, you know, people get very protective of their 1/4 acre or 1/2 acre lots in a subdivision in their home. And so we've got that issue to deal with. And, you know, you read it, I'll have to go with what James says when we were visiting. It reads like it says, single family dwelling in the septic. And that's kind of how we read it at first. And, it's confusing. And you know, once again, we need some guidance. The staff and I, we need to come to a conclusion.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
throw something in here? Because I think we're dealing with some very technical loopholes here. So I don't know if our attorney understands the loopholes that, like, to the extent of the loopholes that we have. I know that, and I can't even begin to delve into the 1,000 bills that they passed this last session, but they have done a lot of stuff with rentals and stripping some of our rights from short-term rentals, not saying that that's what that is, but there's a whole bunch of argumentations.
One issue that the attorney brought up to myself and Mr. Craig, you can't, outlaw daycare, is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, is that something that was passed in this last, or actually 2 years
Well,
ago, and it's at 21st
They
century?
can be regulated as far
Yeah,
as.
but we cannot make a daycare facility not allowed in a neighborhood.
But by what I'm hearing tonight, and I'm saying respectfully, because you're bringing in information I don't understand, so. But what I'm hearing, if we pass this tonight, would not affect them directly, unless they wanted to say it.
So that's one issue.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah, that's on that issue. So, but I think if we do allow them, I still have to have, you know, my little brain.
I agree with
the privilege permit and at least register our fire employees.
I agree, I'm just wondering if we might need to go back to the drawing board to find a way to get away from, to address the loopholes.
Ms. Jeff?
I'm sorry. I want to make sure my volume isn't deafening anyone listening. Can I make a comment regarding privilege taxes, which is the business license? Neither landlords, which is anyone who's renting property, nor service providers that do not have a permanent location are required by city code to have a privilege tax. So by our privilege tax, neither of these individuals is required to have a privilege tax.
Unless we bring a law.
We would
unless
have
we
to
bring
change
an
that as well.
ordinance saying up there.
So I thought a privilege tax was anyone doing business in Vilonia, because we even have some that are Little Rock contractors, but they do business in Vilonia, so they still have to get a tax permit.
They get privilege taxes from us because we are the cheapest by over $50 for anyone in the county and like 4-county area. And many cities such as Sherwood, Little Rock, North Little Rock, etc., require a business license, which is what our privilege tax is, in order to pull permits in those cities.
Stephen, I think you've done your.
So they would have to have one to get permits.
I think you've done good work.
Oh, sure.
They would need one to pull permits in those cities, like to do electrical work there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to read it yet, in case we had some discussions, but we want to make changes, get with the attorney. I mean, I'll get back.
Well, another thought that I was getting to is, have we taken these concerns that we have with the 2 or 3 different loopholes that we're falling under, and maybe having a discussion with some of our state agencies or state officials, and explain the situation that we're having and see, you know, or, you know, our lawyer, but I'm just saying, I'm wondering if, because they may not understand the gravity of, there may be something in their rules that we're not knowledgeable of and they're not knowledgeable.
And once again, I'm gonna say, you know, the reason I brought it is, and I've not got any ill will towards anything. Jimmy and I get a steady drumbeat from residences in these areas. You're not saying, you know, and we got it.
I got you.
Well, it needs to be done legal. We don't
I'm all for the legal part.
We don't want somebody, well, I want to protect these individuals also, and I don't want someone being in a house fire and we didn't know about a situation, or there were too many people living in an area or something like that. I want to make sure that these people are protected, and I'm also, being a business owner, I have to buy a privilege tax. I think everybody should have to buy.
Well, it says that. I don't know where Ms. J was reading that at, and I might do some research, but what I just found under 4.24.01 under the permit required, it said every business, whether on a permanent or temporary basis, must purchase a permit from the city of Vilonia. This will include door-to-door salesmen. And then it talks about on-site or off-site businesses. There are exemptions, but that is for local nonprofit organizations or local civic groups. It does say that there are several businesses that do not stay in city limits of the city of Vilonia who wish to purchase their license from Vilonia. such as construction companies, electricians, in-home businesses. They'll be allowed with the same permit fee as the on-site businesses. It talks about applications, the display of the permit, and the penalty if you don't have one.
On-site.
I don't see anywhere in there where it talks about certain businesses.
I think we've had some.
On-site.
I think we've had some healthy discussion. I don't have a vote unless it's a tie, but my opinion is in my simple mind, and I know Stephen, you and I visited, I think it says no, and it means no. And that's what a lot of our constituents think, and that's the reason we're here so we've got that one point, but I think everybody's in agreement that you can't do that.
On the single residence
Yeah.
section, I think, I read it the same way when I first read it, but the planning commission does not interpret it that way and nobody else. That's the way I read it. But when you go deeper into the definition, it does not mean that, and our planning commission isn't interpreting it that way either.
I think we have to have those definitions, but I think on the immediate, we've established it's a business. So as a business owner myself, the police department comes in my business and checks for fire extinguishers, checks my exit doors. They make recommendations if there's a problem. So I think immediately those things need to be done. One, it notifies them how many people are there. It also gives them knowledge of the escape routes or whatever. So regardless of whether or not the business should be there, if it's a loophole, whatever, regardless, a tax permit and a fire inspection should be done before anything else even goes anywhere.
I don't disagree. I think, Stephen, maybe if you make a note to ask the attorney.
Yeah.
My concern is, are we legally permitted with all the craziness and I'm not saying it's crazy, but with all of the law changes with cities and rental properties, are we able to require a tenant to have a business license? Because if we are, that's an
If it's an LLC,
ordinance
that's a
we need to
business.
write.
Yeah.
Well,
If
a
it's an
landlord, I
LLC.
said a tenant, I mean a landlord. Does a landlord, now you're a commercial landlord. If I rent my home out, if I move out of the home I'm in and I rent it out, can the city require me to have a business license? If yes, there's an ordinance.
I don't think so because you're an individual, but if you have an LLC, I think yes.
I think we've
I think you're in a legal situation.
I think we've had healthy discussion.
So,
We've got.
How about this? How about I get with you, Mr. Mayor, and the attorney, and maybe see if we can schedule a work session together? Or you can get something like that and discuss this further, with him? I don't know if he's open that with it being close to holidays or not, but
I'm
we'll
certainly
find
for getting
out.
something done, and I'm for these, just
Yeah.
myself for what it's worth.
Once again, I'm not against anybody.
So,
I'm not either.
We've got a steady den of phone calls.
So is it consistent just to table this right now till we hear back from attorney on some of this? Is that kind of the consensus I'm getting?
Yes, and we'll schedule a work session. I don't know.
Maybe before the next council meeting, wouldn't be bad, that way we're
Just
not
get
having
with
to
the
make a separate
attorney and
meeting.
see when he
But I don't
can,
know.
or him, I could go on the phone or something.
I would think a work session with the attorney is great, but I would include all the city council members, not just one or two, because.
Oh,
You have to have a work session, yes, yes.
Okay,
That's
you were
why
saying-
everybody-
No, I was gonna talk to you about seeing a
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah,
Okay.
See what we can work
Yeah,
on
no.
the schedule.
I was understanding you to say you and the
No,
attorney.
no, I'll schedule it for all of us, that way mayor's office is not having to do that, I'll take care of. reaching out to them.
Thank you for your work, all the council members. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for everybody that's put in some inputs. Jimmy, do you have anything? I know we.
I said get it walking.
Yeah, it's been a big issue for us, and I want to reiterate it again, just getting the steady down the calls. We want to try to get some clarity for everybody, and that way we put this to bed.
So we are gonna table it and.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
We're gonna
okay
table
with that.
it, and then
But-
we're gonna have a work session.
Are we going to allow any kind of information to be given to our fire department, our police department? Because we can table it, but what if something happens between now and the next meeting?
Like a goal.
We have to pass an ordinance to say.
Before I can leave, go in that home and do something, it's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
It's just, that's up to
Unless you
them,
come over there, that's fine.
Can
It's
they
gonna happen.
agree to let you come in and do that?
Agree.
that's up to them,
Yeah.
if they want you to come check stuff out.
Jimmy and them want to discuss a sidebar after the meeting, that's fine.
So,
He's right, we gotta have
as-
some legal backing.
So as of right now, if this sounds correct, I want to make a motion to table 2025-PDO-04.
Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second to table it, and we're gonna schedule a work session to look into it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's been a dandy. All right, moving up, update on the seniors center. I want to thank Ms. LaCosta Bean for stepping up and doing a lot of work. LaCosta, I'll talk for a second, and if I miss anything, you can step in. The young lady that has been in charge of these centers across the county has resigned, is my understanding.
She is no longer.
She is no longer affiliated with the program, and we, maybe mainly LaCosta, has tried to get both parties back together. I may have made a mistake, and it was a gray area for me. You know what we needed, how deep to get into that. I am worried about the seniors. After I've looked at the issue and had a lot of time to percolate on it, I don't know if they can handle it.
It's going to be hard. There's a lot of.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, this has really bothered me. I've had to pray about it. I'm worried about those seniors. I may have made a mistake. I didn't feel like that we or myself had the authority to really just step in the middle of it.
Want to.
That's true. But we're once again, LaCosta has done some heavy lifting. We're trying to, or she is, we're trying to get both parties back together. I do think that's the best thing.
If that can happen, that's.
Yeah, and James, I agree with you.
Did I not read a letter that said the current people, Carolink or whoever they are, the 30th of November was their last day?
That is correct.
So if I could speak in on that, and first of all, I want to tell Ms. Cindy, thank you for going with me to help me answer some of their questions. So they at first wanted to do their own thing. They had a plan. We did get all the figures of everything that is spent at Vilonia. And that number is huge. So they sent the letter to Carolink. Carolink did give us a date of the 26th being the last day to feed and the 30th being out. Since the personality conflicts that were being had was with the lady who is no longer with the company, that resolved that problem on its own. So we've been in discussion of them remaining. Now, it's went back and forth. Carolink is willing to stay in Vilonia. Faulkner County is hesitant to stay in Vilonia. So it's, one day they're, no, we're not gonna be able to do it. The next day it's, hold on, we're hopeful. We're still in a holding pattern, and I know that date is getting very close, but we're very hopeful, and there's several of the board members that are supportive of them staying in Vilonia. With that being said, they may not be in Vilonia for the month of December. So that is something that we as business owners and citizens and, we may have to help feed them for that month. But we are hopeful that January 1st, they will be back. That is not an official word, but that's what we're trying for right now.
And I'm probably gonna step out there and say that we're gonna stick, because I just think it's that important. And James, thank you because I've got some dear old friends that are not gonna be happy. And you know that, you and I, but I do think that this is the best decision.
I think so, because I was real worried about how this city was gonna come up with an extra $100,000+.
And I told him we weren't.
No, I mean, it's not there.
No, well, I told them, we're not, and we've had some of them look at, we had one individual that inquired on sales tax and stuff the other day, and I'm like, look, let me make this plain. We don't have it.
I think their intentions are good. I will say a couple of things that I've talked to Mr. Hawks about. Some of the citizens felt like they were being treated poorly. Some of the workers felt like they were being treated poorly. And so it became a he said, she said, but no one knew for sure. So he discussed putting in cameras there. That protects the workers, that protects the senior citizens. They said someone had mopped the floor when they were, going into exercise class. Well, if there's cameras, we see that. That's an easy fix if they know about it. So that's one thing. They've also talked about having a more or less a board that's not just the senior citizens. Right now, the decision-making entity is a few of the senior citizens who are making those choices for everybody. And so Faulkner County has suggested if they come back, we have a board that's gonna include elected officials. It's gonna include some of the senior citizens,
I think that's a
some
good idea.
general members. That way, it's not just the person sitting at the table who's upset. So there are things that we will have to go through, but if we can work that out, that is the best thing, because
And
that affects years down the road. That's
Well,
not just
and-
this
That's no different than the water board or the planning commission, you know, they're appointed by a mayor and confirmed by the council as far as board members go, so I mean, that's not a bad thought.
I
You
did
have Carolink and you have area agents.
Faulkner County area.
And Faulkner County area agencies up in the air. Carolink.
Carolink is, yeah, and I will, and I haven't, and I apologize, today was quite a day of the custom, but I did have a call from one of the board members. And I think what they were looking for is that we're gonna stick with them, and I made that commitment,
Yeah,
just so you'll know.
And that was
I
one of the
made that
things,
commitment,
I think that's best. That was a good.
the mayor, that we're gonna stick with them.
Yeah.
that was
if
one of
they
the
come
things
back.
with the board is if they agreed to come back, they wanted some reassurance that the city and the elected officials, such as city council, would be involved
I made that
in the
commitment
decision
today.
making versus just
Yeah.
one day deciding we're doing
Do we
this.
really want to be involved in the operations of senior citizens?
I don't think we so much need to be in operation, Joe, but I do think we're gonna have to
We
play.
need some board members.
I think we're gonna have to play, I don't know, you're the military. I need orders. They need orders.
Well, I understand that, but I would have no problem with one person on this council serving as the board to report to us what's going on over there.
I got you.
But as far as us getting into the
No,
operation
no,
of
no,
that
no.
place,
I agree with you, Joe.
no, I agree with you.
No, I'm gonna
I
recommend
don't think
James.
they want that.
Hey, I got a tease with James, no, you're not a senior citizen.
And I will throw in there
Senior
also,
citizen on the council, so.
I will put in there also, the senior citizens who were petitioning to withdraw, since they have been informed of one lady no longer being there, the other lady is not gonna be at Vilonia, they are on board with remaining. So
Well, and I want
now
to-
it's just kind of,
Yeah, I want
us
to reiterate to
begging
the
to come
council,
back.
I made that commitment today that we would stick.
Sure.
Anybody have any heartburn with that?
no, we need to.
We're gonna stick then. James said we're gonna put some stick on it.
Let's get them to stick with us.
We
Alright,
may have to mop floors in December too, if they're not still there to do it. I can.
okay. Brad can be there.
Yeah, Brad.
I got something I will say that I probably should have said when I was already up there, but speaking of seniors, the Lions Club is feeding them Thursday for Thanksgiving, and all of you guys are welcome to be there.
Cool. 5:30.
What time, 11 or 12?
11.
11:30.
11 o'clock Thursday. 11:30 Thursday, they're feeding the seniors Thanksgiving, and I do understand, I know I was visiting with Miss Susan at the bank, and they were looking for volunteers.
I'll be
They were
glad
kind of
to,
short.
I'll be glad to serve, I did last year. and I
It's cold, wet, and rain ain't with them.
I'm gonna try something from work, I'll try to come.
Are you gonna come out? Okay.
I'll.
You can put me and Miss Cindy down, we'll help you serve.
Are you serving?
Usually I'm there.
Hey, he'll be hanging around, he'll be hanging around talking to
Last year he spilled the turkey.
Well, I realized today that I have double booked myself for Thursday, triple things.
Hang on, let me make sure.
We'll get firemen over there, if you get firemen over there, they always do the work. Yeah, we'll get the firemen over there.
I mean, you're their boss.
All right. Moving on, and I told you, I'm sorry it's been so lengthy, but it's been a good meeting. The presentation of the 2026 proposed budget, you should have that copy. Look that over. We feel pretty good about it. Please, if you have any questions, contact the city clerk or me, and we'll try to help, but I feel good about it. You know, we need more business, we all know that. And, you know, I'm proud of what we've been able to do on our, you know, providing the services, amount of growth with that. And with growth will come more revenue, they will give more services. It's a very, frugal budget, and, I think we did, and you may have to help me, Joe, I think it's 2.5%.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 on the employees. I will tell you, visiting with mayors across the state, and just elected officials, inflationary pressures on budgets everywhere are real. It's just amazing what everything's done, cleaning supplies down to anything. The other big pressure is healthcare insurance.
The sewer department went up 25%.
Did, and, yeah, that's a big pressure. Healthcare, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what, but that's gonna be more and more of an issue. But we've had those inflationary pressures and the health insurance, but I feel good where we're at. Y'all should be proud of your city. You got a very low debt.
I was talking to another city official about that, and they were impressed that the only bond we have out is on the sewer bond, and it'll probably pay off in 4 years or so.
Well, there's a city here that I won't name that's 250 million in debt, and fixing that to spend 100 million on water infrastructure. And you have to, in my opinion, I'm just an old fogey, you have to keep your eye on the ball on infrastructure.
For us having,
you know, roads, water, and all that.
We ought to brag on ourselves a little bit. I'm gonna start with the sewer department, looking into the future, because we've done that like this.
That's correct.
We're gonna have to expand something at the plant. These two subdivisions that are going in, that's just about the end of us, right? Because of the plant. But because we bought that land now, and we put ponds in out there to collect it and then run it through the plant like we should, but not overtax the plant.
That's what I'm saying.
it's amazing about how little forethought can do.
$10-12 million building those plants.
I was not in the middle of that expansion, but I will, when I was business engineer. When all this came up on the good subdivision, I had the same question. We are lucky to got this here.
Well, I mean, somebody, they got the sewer department in on that prior to the subdivisions actually going in, because I can remember way back in my head where they used to do that. And then it's just say, okay, now sewer department handle it.
No, every subdivision or business has, you know, have a meeting with the sewer department, make sure.
Thank you for that.
Well, there's a lot of little nuances, grease traps and land traps, and I learn more about sewer, I wanna know, it's expensive.
So are you proposing any wage adjustments, is that what you said?
That will be the next thing, we've got the budget presented, like I said, if y'all have anything on that, let us know, and we'll go, we'll look at passing that here at the next.
Oh, so the 2.5 is a COLA, is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's.
That's what I misunderstood.
Yeah, but look at it over.
Close to 2.5%.
Yeah. The one-time wage adjustments for this time of year, we're proposing again, 500 for the full-time employees and 250 for the part-time employees. I would entertain.
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second to, make the wage adjustment for the employees, $500 for full-time, $250 for part-time. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unopposed, stand approved. Council, I've got a little personal deal here at the very end. I've had to do a lot of praying and I've had a lot of things change in my life. I will not be seeking this office again. I will be. I've had a lot of changes in my life. I lost my father a year ago. He was still with me and helping me in the family corporation up until 6 weeks of his passing. I've had to take on some new roles there. My mom fell ill a month later. And I know she was a recorder treasurer with you. She weighs 88 pounds and she's eating. We got her in rehab and I hope she gets to come home. And I've had some issues, not gonna go into them, but it sucks getting old. But I'm here. I've loved my time with this town. I've loved the infrastructure we've been able to pull in. I'm not ashamed. Some of the internet stuff over time is not fun, but it gets you a skin on you just, about 4 inches thick and you move on. This town has a bright future. It's gonna be, I predict this town could be 8,000 to 10,000 people in the next 10 to 12 years. It's just the sky's the limit. The businesses will come. I will be here to work. My love has always been the law, and it's been the planning and the development and the building of infrastructure. It's always been, I never was a very good politician. I hate politics. I hate all the infighting and everything that goes on. I like to build things. Water lines and sewer lines and roads and bridges and internet has always been my bag. And I will offer my assistance to this town after my retirement. If I'm needed somewhere, I'll be there. I would love to volunteer in the infrastructure side. I still think I have a little bit to give. But I just want to let you know that. It's been a hard decision. But I've got to take care of myself. And I need a little break. I will tell you that going forward, this job has really grown even since I've been here. I'm not scaring anybody off or anything, but it's work now. Y'all are getting to the point within the next 2 years, 3 years, you're gonna have to have full-time there. You may have to look at that pay. You may have to look at the council pay. It's just like what's going on here now. Mike and everything, the last 3 or 4 years, our workload, now it's increasing. Council's got work to do. They've had to offshoot on a lot of issues the last 6, 7 months. And that's gonna increase. More people we have moving into this town, the more pressure and load you'll have on you. But I'll help where I can. I will offer that. But with that, I thank you for this time, and I'll finish out my term and help where I can. All right. I don't have anything else. Like I said, we've had a lot to chew on tonight, and I appreciate y'all staying here. It was a friendly meeting with a lot of good discussion. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All right, thank you, Mayor Firestone.